going back to those pictures with the Sony, when shooting with a digital SLR, you're not guessing, but you're looking at those settings, trying to figure out the ballpark, click, 2-3 shots in, bang. Now you've got your exposure, you've got your composition, you've got everything you need to do, looks great. With the Sony system, there is no doing that. I could not believe that looking at this camera and looking through the back of that thing, any changes you make, aperture, ISO, shutter, anything, it instantly changes on the back. Welcome to the channel. This channel is all about photography and encouragement and starting from scratch and working your business up to the level that you want it to be at and the level that you want to get to. And where you're at and where you want to get to are two completely different things. So keep that in mind when it comes to growing your channel, and that will help you along the way. You won't be so frustrated as you go forward from here, but looking forward to encourage you. If you have any questions, like the channel and subscribe to the channel and hit that like button for notifications. And from here on out, let's talk photography. So as we move forward with this, I am a Sony shooter, and I have been shooting for Sony with about 4 years now. I started off with the A6400, and then I moved up to the 6600, and then I moved to the A7 III. And in my opinion is one of the best entry-level megapixel wise cameras that you can get yourself involved with, because it is just a great mirrorless camera. If you're just leaving the digital SLR and you're moving into the mirrorless realm, Sony cameras are the way to go. With that being said, tremendous amount of lens that are now out that were not out 4 or 5 years ago. You had to work your way up when it comes to lenses, and God knows you cannot do this overnight. It takes time to... I left Nikon and the Nikon D7100s and 7200s that I was running over there for all of my wedding and my portraits and all the stuff that I was doing. Now I'm into the Sony realm, and I bought one camera, one flash, and I worked my way up from there. Along the way, I learned a few things. I brought my still shooting Nikon, still doing my weddings, and I brought my first Sony camera to a wedding as a test. I bought the A7300 with the kit lens, and I went on a cruise with it. That was absolutely fantastic. And then I turned around and did one of my first weddings with it as a backup third camera. With that third camera, I would just kind of sneak around and grab some shots of the details or whatever it was, just so I can go back and have something to compare it to. Now, with Nikon, Canon, those guys, in camera, straight out of camera pictures look fantastic. The colors are great, the contrasts are great. There is a color science difference between Nikon and my Sony, 100%. But in post, you can fix, you can alter, you can add and adjust to copy and mimic Nikon and camera and Canon and so on and so forth. So you can mimic those styles that you're looking for. Once you add your preset, ain't nobody gonna know what camera that came from. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. All that matters is the bride and the groom are happy with what they've got. They hired you because of, for me, it's my personality. 2, it's my work. 3rd, it's whatever. So whatever you need to do to get yourself in front of clients, if you're afraid to talk to people, you will have to work on that, because they will not hire somebody unless you're talking to them. If you can't carry a conversation, you need to work on that, because they need to know that they can trust you with, hey, this is how we feel. This is what we're thinking. This is what we're doing. Whatever it's gotta be, you have to be able to communicate with that bride and groom at all times. So going back to those pictures with the Sony, when shooting with a digital SLR, you're not guessing, but you're looking at those settings, trying to figure out the ballpark, click, 2-3 shots in, bang. Now you've got your exposure, you've got your composition, you've got everything you need to do, looks great. With the Sony system, there is no doing that. I could not believe that looking at this camera and looking through the back of that thing, any changes you make, aperture, ISO, shutter, anything, it instantly changes on the back. You can see if it's underexposed. You can see if it's overexposed. You can see all of that stuff before you even get to clicking the shutter. Crazy, crazy, crazy. You're done in one shot. One shot. There's no adjusting, and even if you overexpose or underexpose, you can always fix it in post. But I've learned this a long time ago. If it takes you 10 minutes to fix something in post, you didn't take the picture right. And I go to every shoot that way. I will make sure that my images or what I'm looking to comprehend and to understand and to get is done 90% in the camera. Now, you can't enhance colors in the camera, so when you get that in post, you can literally boost those magentas, boost those greens, change those oranges, and do all that stuff, and bang, when you deliver that picture, that is not straight out of camera. I don't care what anybody says. You're gonna be close, but that's not straight out of camera. When you go to, if that was the case and people feel like they don't need to do any editing, then why have software? Why have Adobe? Why have Photoshop, Lightroom, Capture One, whatever it is that you're using, why bother? Saves you a lot of money. That's not me. I'm not there yet. I need to go back to my software to adjust along the way. But we'll talk about software and editing another time. Right now, we're just talking about the A7 III. Loved it so much. I bought the 85mm 1.8, and oh my God, the background bokeh is amazing. I had somebody say one time that, hey, I shot this at f8, and I asked them what lens they were using, and they say, hey, the 85 1.8. I was like, why buy a 1.8 if you're shooting at f8? If you want the background in there that much, that's good. That's great. Go for it. I encourage you. That's not me. That's my style. I want separation from. Now, if you want f8, you're at an amusement park and you're trying to show the roller coaster in the background, go for it. That's when you go to the f8, f9, f16, anything else like that. You want that separation in the background and you want that creamy bokeh in the background. You ain't shooting that at f8, you're shooting that at f1. 1.8, 1.2, 1.4, 2.8 is probably the most highest aperture that I will go to because I want background separation. I want to separate my bride and groom, my client from the background so that they stand out. Anybody can take a picture at the park with the roller coaster in the background. Pick up your phone. Don't buy a digital SLR and don't buy a mirrorless camera. If you want to separate yourself from the crowd and separate yourself from your competitors and all those people that are going up against you, like it or not, you're gonna have to do something that separates you. And that 99% of the time, it's your work. Because if somebody doesn't like your website, somebody goes to your website, they don't like your pictures, they ain't calling you. Bottom line, they're just not gonna call you. No way around it at all whatsoever. With that being said, when they see a really good, well done website, they're almost afraid to call you because, oh my God, this looks fantastic, this must be expensive. Not always the case. Not always the case. I would rather shoot 35 weddings a year, which I don't, than 10. Why? More money, less work, wouldn't that make more sense? Yes. No. For me, I would rather do more. Ask me why. Okay, good question. Because the more you shoot, the better you get. And if you are that good that you can do 5 weddings a year at $10,000 a piece and you don't have to do anything else after that, kudos, good for you. That's not me. I'm being honest. I love to be with people and I love to work with people and I love to be part of a wedding and a wedding crowd and the wedding party. I have done really well with walking into a reception and walking into a wedding party. When I get there for the getting ready pictures, I'll go around 2 or 3 times with the names. If there's a Jen, a Jennifer, and a Genevieve, I will say that's Gen 1, Gen 2, and Gen 3. Only because they laugh at that, but I remember it. I'm just finding ways to remember people's names. So we're gonna go back to the Sony A7 III in just a minute. So you want to go in and remember people's names. By the end of the night, you are rattling off these people's names. one by one, and all the way through, they're gonna be like, oh my God, how did you remember my name? At the end of the day, you're gonna leave an impression, and they're gonna remember your name. When you leave an impression like that, and you can go back and make people have fun, have a good time, and remember you at the end of the day, when they're getting engaged, having a baby, doing maternity, anything like that, they're like, oh my God, what was that photographer's name? Ah, Smile Guy. Anyways, going back to the cameras again. So I bought my 85mm 1.8. Absolutely fell in love with that. And then I bought the Nifty 50, which was a 1.4, I think, 50mm. Crazy, crazy, crazy good, great separation. Now, natural light, phenomenal. But once you get to the off-camera flash, that is next level. That is next level photography. Some people who just do natural light, go for it. Nothing against that. I do it when it's there, but when it's not there and I want to create the light, if I want to shape the light, if I want to move forward and manipulate the light, or there is no light. Example, I was just at a local venue by my place and they have a big water fountain. This restaurant and venue is known for the water fountain out in the front of their venue. So with that being said, he's like, hey, we had an electrical part problem the other day. The lights aren't working. I was like, don't worry about it. I brought my own light. So he's like, did you bring floodlights? I said, no, I'll show you later. So he's like, okay, I'll turn the water on for you. So the water's flowing, the wind is blowing. It was a little bit more of a water spray instead of a water fountain, but that's okay. It all worked out good. So I went out with my A7 III and I had my 16-35 2.8 G Master on there. Wow, what an absolutely great wide angle lens. When you want to show that sky and the massiveness of the sky in the environment, and then you place the bride and groom right about there, just like that. Some people are like, well, you can't even see them, but you can. You're showing the immenseness of the scene and you're focusing on them. So you make this darker and you make them brighter. Your eye will go to that. You'll learn that. Anyways, that was free. Anyways, so now I went outside and I put my red flash Magmon gel on the back side of my flash. I put it, my second shooter, went over to the other side of the fountain, put it on there, couple of test shots, got it to the right way that I wanted. I had my second flash, AD200, on the other side of me with a gel on that and with 2 mag grids on that so I can zero in on the light. I put that about 20 feet to my right. I put the flash behind them. Within 3 shots, because of flash exposure, I had what I was looking for. 1600 ISO, the red flash in the back lit up the flowers. I lit up the water behind them just like they wanted to. My other flash to camera left lit the front of them up. It blacked out everything all around them. And now these 2 people are on this wide angle portrait of a lens, of a picture, and it just looks absolutely beautiful. So now I have 2 Sony A7 IIIs. Now I have a Sony A6600, which is what I'm recording on over there, the eye autofocus, and I've got a Sigma 16mm 1.4 on that lens for recording inside of my studio over here. All the lenses that I'm trying to accommodate and get, I've been picking up one at a time. Do a wedding, buy a lens. Do a wedding, buy a lens. Do a wedding, buy a lens. So now I've got a studio in Chicopee. I do all my headshots in here and newborn pictures in sitting sessions, and my cake smashers are done in here also. All my other stuff is all done on location. We go to the parks for whatever, senior pictures, beach, anything else like that. So we will be dealing with and talking with the Sony system. That's where I am. I'll tell you where I came from. If you got any questions, put them in the comments below. But looking forward to just connecting with you. Any questions at all, put them in the comments below. If I can help you out in any way, shape, or form, message me. Look me up on social media. Do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, greatly appreciated. And until next time, when I bring another video as we start to try and go forward as much as I possibly can to have a better layout of what I'm gonna be doing and talking about. A lot of big, good subjects we're gonna be coming up and talking about soon because it's something that I want to learn. So I'm going to talk to you about things that I know. I'm going to talk to you about things that I don't know. I'm going to talk to you about things that I understand and talk to you about things that I don't understand. But if I can help you and if you can help me, let's just make this an open communication back and forth so that we can move forward from there. I want to help somebody. I want to help people with whatever that I can do, teaching-wise or anything else like that. But if I can help you, let me know. Hit that subscribe button. Hit what's inside of there. And looking forward to hearing from you soon. Peace.